All right, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Day 2 of the playoffs for the KJCCC. Right to go to Salina for the tournament that gives you the possibility of going to Grand Junction, Colorado for the D1 Junior College World Series. I want to welcome you to the broadcast, give a little bit of information. I found out my audio's going, and I want to welcome everyone to the broadcast, getting ready to go here at 1 o'clock. As many of you know, we played yesterday at 10 a.m. to try and beat the weather. The Blue Devils won that game 12-11. So the Blue Devils lead this best 2 out of 3, 1-0. And the Blue Devils are hoping to finalize it today. The Conquistadors of Dodge City are hoping to force a Game 3. So that all remains to be seen and play itself out here in a little bit. In the other games for the right to go to Salina, Barton and Neosho were rained out yesterday. I believe they're playing a doubleheader today. They might play one today, one tomorrow, and one on Saturday, but I'll bet they play a doubleheader today. But not for sure about that. Coffeyville beat Butler 9-1. Hutchison beat Allen 9-3. Cowley beat Seward 11-1. Cloud County beat Labette 15-6. KCK, the game here, beat Dodge City 12-11. Colby beat Fort Scott 14-3, and Johnson County beat Garden City 8-7. So all the higher seeds won their games yesterday, with the exception of the Barton Neosho game being postponed due to rain. The coaches here and administration did a nice job averting that happening to them by moving that game up 3 hours to make it happen earlier. So let's meet the starting lineup so I can kind of give way to the PA here. Sunshiny day on the campus of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. Starting lineup for Dodge City Conquistadors here in Game 2. Leading off, the shortstop, Josh McClintock. Batting second, the second baseman, Jose Alfonso. The designated hitter bats third, Calvin Warillo. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, M.D. Connor. Batting fifth in right field today, Juan Concepcion. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Seth Brown. Batting seventh, the catcher, Ben Longoria. Batting eighth and playing in left field, Jackson Derry. Batting ninth, the center fielder, Corey Costner, with Caleb Tucker on the mound. So it'll be McClintock, Alfonso, Warillo, Connor, Concepcion, Brown, Longoria, Derry, Costner, with Tucker on the mound. That's the starting lineup for the Dodge City Conquistadors. Their head coach is J.M. Kelly. It's his first year in Dodge City. They have a 32-24 record. They are 15-17 in the conference. Now the starting lineup for your Blue Devils. Coach Goldbeck in his 9th year. The Blue Devils are 36-20 overall and 19-13 in the conference. Leading off, the shortstop, Tanner Pachorik. Batting second in center field, Marcus Dirks. Batting third, the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. Batting cleanup for the Blue Devils in left field, Freddie Nolan the fourth. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Ian Woida. Batting sixth, Braden Horn, the catcher. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Harrison Barham. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Carter Towns. Batting ninth in right field, Spencer Smock, with Caleb Deere on the mound. So for the Blue Devils, it'll be Pachorik, Dirk, Santiago, Nolan the fourth, Woida, and Horn, Barham, Towns, and Smock, with Deere on the mound. We're about 14 minutes from game time. Stick with us. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, I stay away from the national anthem because typically it's played by a copyrighted or copywritten band, and sometimes that can mute the broadcast, and I wouldn't want that to happen. So I am as much for the United States of America as anybody, but I do stay away from having YouTube to mute my broadcast. So thanks for joining, and we'll be back with the start of this one in a few minutes. Thank you. All right, welcome to the broadcast. Doing some final touches on the scoreboard and those kinds of things. Welcome to the broadcast. Caleb Deere on the mound for the Blue Devils. He's from Overland Park, Kansas. He has a 1.99 ERA as he is number one in the KJCCC with earned run average. It shows 208. So we will get started here. He has a 4-2 record with 45 1/3 innings pitched. Leading things off is Josh McClintock. First pitch is hit to right field, and that's taken care of by Spencer Smock. That's going to bring up Jose Alfonso. Alfonso steps in with one out and nobody on. Alfonso starts the day batting .387. First pitch from Deere. Low and inside, ball one. 1-0 the count. Thank you goes out to Mrs. Pachorik. She's keeping an eye on my scoreboard, helping me with that today. And there's the ball hit to Tanner Pachorik and over to Santiago for the 6-3 ground out. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Warrillo. Warrillo will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Warrillo starts the day batting .357. Warrillo was 3 for 5 with a grand slam and a couple of base hits. Total of 5 RBI. There's a strike called 0-1 the count. So his 3 for 5 yesterday was a grand slam and a couple of base hits, one of them with an RBI. That misses a little bit outside, 1-1 the count. There's a swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Comes the 1-2 from Deere. And there's a hit by pitch. That's going to bring up the first baseman, M.D. Connor. Connor starts the day batting .383. Connor was 1 for 5 on the day yesterday. Had a base hit in the third. That's up high, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Runner down at first base is the designated hitter, Calvin Warrillo. It's inside. 2-0 the count. Connor, the first baseman. Blue Devils won the first game of this best 2 out of 3 yesterday, 12-11. There's a ground ball headed at Barham. Barham's going to go over to first base for the 4-3 ground out. So, no runs on, no hits. 1 left on. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. No score. All right, to the bottom of the first inning we go. On the mound for Dodge City Conquistadors, we have a couple of Calebs on the mound today. Caleb Deere for the Blue Devils and Caleb Tucker for the Conquistadors. He's from Brock, Texas. He has an 11.98 ERA. His record is 2-3. He's thrown 44 and a third innings. His strikeouts in those 44 and a third innings, 29 strikeouts and 20 walks. The defense behind him is Derry, Costner, and Concepcion are across the outfield, left to right. Brown, McClintock, Alfonso, and Connor across the infield, left to right, with Longoria behind the plate as he was the catcher yesterday as well. So Tanner Pachorik will lead things off. Pachorik starts the day batting .365. First pitch to him is outside and a ball. Pachorik was 0 for 6 yesterday, actually 0 for 5. He did have a sac bunt that scored a run. There's a ball that's hit hard right at the shortstop, McClintock. And McClintock takes care of that for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks starts the day batting .416. Dirks was 2 for 4 on the day. He had a couple of base hits, had an RBI base hit, and a base on balls with the bases loaded for an RBI. There's a strike right through the outside part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. There's a ground ball headed at Connor. Connor takes the hop, steps on the bag for the 3 unassisted. That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago starts the day batting .328. Santiago was 1 for 3 yesterday. He was hit by a pitch, had a base hit, and reached on an intentional walk. 1 for 3 on the day. He steps in with 2 outs and nobody on. That's low and inside. Two and 0 the count. Swing and a miss of that pitch. Inside half of the plate, 2-1 the count. There's a strike called at the belt outside half of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. So with the 2 strikes, he moves in tighter on the plate, and that's outside. As soon as the second strike was called, he moved in about 3 to 4 inches closer to the plate. Comes the 3-2, and that's ball 4. That'll bring up Nolan the 4th. Nolan the 4th starts the day batting .335. Nolan the 4th was 0 for 4 yesterday. Hit into a couple of double plays. Did reach base once with a walk. Comes the first pitch to him. That's down low, nicely blocked by Longoria. Santiago over at first. 1-0. That's down low for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Two balls, no strikes, 2 out. 2 out walk issued to Santiago. It's a high chopper headed over toward Coach Goldbeck. Coach Goldbeck with a few signals letting his hitter and runner know what we're planning here. 2-1 the count. There's a ball headed toward right field. Going to have to hurry to get there. And out at first on a 4-3 ground out. No runs, no hits, no errors. One left on. We go to the top of the second inning. No score. All right, to the top of the second inning we go. Concepcion, Brown, and Longoria scheduled up for the Conquistadors. The defense behind Deere is Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock, left to right across the outfield. Across the infield, Woida, Pachorik, Barham, and Santiago with Horn behind the plate. Concepcion steps in to face Deere for the first time. There's that foul ball headed for the woods. Concepcion starts the day batting .397. Concepcion was 1 for 5 yesterday, but he did have a home run. There's a little squibber down to the first baseman, Santiago, and he steps on the bag and takes care of that himself. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Seth Brown. He starts the day batting .368. He was 0 for 3 on the day yesterday. It was, 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch, walked, flew out. His one official at bat. That misses outside, 1-0 the count. Caleb Deere in 45 1/3 innings of play has 62 strikeouts and 30 walks. Comes the 1-0. That's a strike at the knees right through there. One ball, one strike, one out. Each team still looking for their first run. There's a strike outside half of the plate at the knees. So quickly 1-2 the count on the third baseman, Seth Brown. Breaking ball, and he fouls it away. Does Brown. That's over into the bullpen area of the Blue Devils on the other side of the dugout. There's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. That'll bring up Longoria. Longoria will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Longoria starts the day batting .345. He was 1 for 5 yesterday, had an RBI base hit. That breaks inside for ball 1. Want to know the count? Caleb Deere, tall lefty on the mound for the Blue Devils. Longoria, the catcher. That's low and inside. 2-0 the count. That's down low for ball 3. 3-0 the count. Comes the 3-0 from Deere. There's ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Longoria. That's going to bring up Derry, Jackson Derry.
Left fielder Jackson Derry.
Derry starts the day batting .310. He'll step in with 2 outs and a runner down at first base. And Longoria. Foul ball back to the screen. So 0-1 the count on the left fielder, Jackson Derry. Runner at first is Longoria. There's a strike at the belt, right down the middle. 0-2 the count now. Runner goes. And he's out, so caught stealing. A nice job throwing from the knee by Horn. And the tag applied down there. And caught stealing. We will go to the bottom half of the second inning. No score. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. All right, to the bottom half of the second inning we go. Woida, Horn, and Barham scheduled up. Woida starts the day. First pitch, he takes ball 1, 1-0 the count. Woida starts the day batting .354. There's a ball that's most likely going to get out of play and does. So 1-1 the count on Woida. Woida was 3 for 4 yesterday, had an RBI double, had a base hit, and in the 8th inning, a solo home run. That pitch is Outside, 2-1 the count on Moida. There's a strike called, 2-2 the count. And a swing and a miss for the strikeout. That's going to bring up Horn. Horn will step in with one out and nobody on. Horn starts the day batting .343. Horn was 2 for 3 yesterday. Had a couple of base hits. Had a double. Had a sack. Had an RBI single and another single, so a couple of singles. He was hit by a pitch in the 8th inning. 2-0 the count now on the catcher, Braden Horn. 3-0 the count now. And hit by a pitch. That's going to bring up Barham. So headed down to first base is Braden Horn. Barham will step in. Harrison Barham is the second baseman. He'll step in with a runner at first and one out. Barham starts the day batting .333. Comes the pitch from Tucker. Low and inside, 1-0 the count. Comes the 1-0 in the dirt, nicely blocked by Caleb Tucker, the catcher. Longoria, the catcher. Tucker is on the mound, actually. So 2-0 the count. That's down low again. So 3-0 the count. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner. 3-1 the count. Some ball headed into shallow right field. Alfonso chasing out, and Alfonso with the play out in shallow right field. That's going to bring up Towns. Towns starts the day batting .308. Townsworth was 3 for 4 yesterday. He had a base hit. He had 3 base hits. One of them was a bunt hit. One of the other base hits was for an RBI. There's a strike called. 0-1 the count. Towns the designated hitter. Breaking ball nicely blocked by Longoria. Dodge City Conquistadors from Dodge City, Kansas, in for a best 2 out of 3 versus your Blue Devils. Here's a ball headed out of play. Blue Devils won the first game yesterday 12-11. We played at 10 a.m. in the morning to stay away from the afternoon showers that I drove in to go home, so it was a good call. There's a ball that's high and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the second inning. That's inside. So 3-2 the count now. The runner at first base. Barham will be off with the pitch. And just a little bit low. So a base on balls. So runners at first and second. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Spencer Smock. Smock starts the day batting .303. He was 2 for 4 on the day yesterday. He had a couple of base hits and a stolen base. First pitch to him from Tucker, that's down low. Runner at second base is Horn. Runner at first is Towns. That's down low. 2-0 the count. The ball out behind second base. That's going to be taken. Pulled him off. He leaned forward. And the foot came off and pulled him off. Absolutely. I was thinking the very same thing. He was pulled off the base down there as he went to lunge out to get the ball and didn't come back in time. And that's going to be a run that scores.
I'm waiting to put anything on the scoreboard here. Well, it doesn't matter because he's covering third, he has second, and he has first. So this guy's not even watching back there.
So we'll see what they're going to go with here.
He's just telling him I'm watching third and home.
So I believe what we're going to have here when all the dust clears is runners at second and third, one run in, and that is going to have been. So we will have a run for the Blue Devils, and Tanner Pachorik will step in for his second at bat. Pachorik is from Aurora, Colorado. He hit a line drive right at McClintock at short his first time up. That ball is low and outside, 1-0 the count.
That'd be actually insane. Now they're not going to get the ball the rest of the game, though. Still wish I could see that again. I should have looked at it.
Swing and a miss. So that run comes in, all based on the error of the second baseman, Alfonso. That ball's down low. So 2-1 the count. So the Blue Devils score one so far here. 2-1 the count with 2 outs. Runners at second and third. That's way outside. A nice job by Longoria to keep that ball from going to the screen. Runner at third, runner at second. 3-1 the count. There's a strike on the check swing, strike called. So 3-2 the count now. As the ball headed into right field, right at Concepcion. So the Blue Devils get 1 run on no hits. A couple left on. We go to the top of the third inning. Blue Devils leading 1-0. I'll be back. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. All right, here we go to the top half of the third inning. Derry, Costner, and McClintock scheduled up for the Conquistadors. Derry starts the day batting .310. He was at the plate. There's a foul ball. He was up to bat when Longoria was caught stealing on a nice throw and tag by the Blue Devils. That's outside. Horn with the throw down and the tag. 1-1 the count. Blue Devils with a 1-run lead here in the top of the third. 9 innings scheduled game. That's way up high at 2-1 the count. Comes the 2-1. And a swing and a miss of the heater on the outside corner. Derry, the left fielder. Jackson Derry, the left fielder for the Conquistadors. 2-2 the count. There's a ball headed down the right field line. That's going to be off the side of the hill and kick down toward the woods. We'll do the 2-2 again. There's a ground ball headed over. Santiago's going to let it go. That's going to end up being a hit. Was going to let that go for Barham to get. So an infield hit for Derry.
Center fielder Corey Costner.
So that's going to bring up Costner. Costner starts the day batting .354. Costner was 0 for 1 yesterday, but he was on base 3 out of 4 times. He was walked a couple of times and hit by a pitch. His only official at bat, he struck out. So 0 for 1 yesterday was the center fielder, Corey Costner. It's a toss over to first base. Foul ball backing out of play. That's headed over to the right through the backside of the goal of the soccer field. Quickly 0-2 the count. Nobody out. Runner at first. Leadoff base hit by Derry. Toss over to first again. Back in safely is Derry. Way outside. 1-2 the count. Going to have to be a little bit closer than that to get him to chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Blue Devils leading 1-0. Top of the third inning action. Runner goes, and the throw, and going to be off the bag and tagged and out. So he slid by the bag. I'm seeing an awful lot of sliding toward the outfield side, but you don't get to the bag till you're about chest high. And another caught stealing by the Blue Devils, and a nice throw by Braden Horn. Third strike and away, and the Blue Devils a good hustle back to Horn for the third strike, so the strikeout. But we had to end that with a 2-3 to finalize it. So back to the top of the order, and McClintock. First pitch is a ball. McClintock is from Columbia, Missouri. 1-0 the count on him. He flew out to Smock in right field his first time up. That's up high, 1-1 the count. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Caleb Deere on the mound. Is a foul ball. That's headed over to the soccer field. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Another ball headed over to the soccer field. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Another foul ball headed over to the same area. We'll do the 2-2 again. Foul ball pulled over by the third base dugout. We'll do the 2-2 again. The ball headed down the right field line over into the corner. And leaping up and taking care of that is Spencer Smock. So Smock goes over into the corner where the wall kind of recesses in, leaps high and brings that one down for the final out of the inning. So no runs on 1 hit, and we go to the bottom of the third inning. No, the Blue Devils leading 1-0. All right, here we go to the bottom of the third inning. Dirks, Santiago, and Nolan, the fourth, scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Way outside, ball one, want to know the count. Dirks is from Kansas City, Kansas. He grounded out to Connor at first base his first time up. There's a breaking ball, makes it back to the strike zone, 1-1 the count. Brown at third base, creeping into the grass. There's a strike called. Curveball catches that outside corner. There's a base hit into left field.
First baseman Frankie Santiago.
So the base hit by Dirks, and he's over at first base. That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago is from Calle, Puerto Rico. He reached on a base on balls his first time up. Over at first is Dirks. Way outside, 1-0 the count. We've reached over 100 watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you know somebody here at the stadium, it's a toss over to first, or if you are watching here at the stadium, if you'll stop down, the first person that stops down to see Coach Burleson at the red picnic table, he will give you your choice of a tumbler or a Fortis cap. That's outside. 2-0 the count. So you don't have to be here. If you know somebody that's here, let them know. They can go down and pick that up from you. For you, I should say. 2-0 the count. Trying to keep Dirks close. Two and 0 the count. Dirks has 26 stolen bases. That ball misses outside. He's only been caught stealing twice. There's a strike right through there, 3-1 the count. Three balls, one strike, nobody out. There's a ball headed into deep center field. And coming into second. So the fly is deep enough for Dirks to move up. That's going to bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth is from Fort Worth, Texas. He grounded out to Alfonso at second base. His first time up on this one, he's got a runner in scoring position with one out. That's low and outside, 1-0 the count. One ball, no strikes, one out. It's a ball headed to deep right field. And that's going to be at the base of. And diving and coming across home is Dirks. And an RBI double for Nolan the fourth.
48, Ian Boyda.
That's going to bring up Woida. Down at second base is Nolan the fourth. The RBI makes it 2 for the Blue Devils. That's going to bring up Ian Woida. Woida is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He struck out his first time up. 1 out, runner at second base, Wojda at the plate. Nicely blocked. And the throw down to third. Just got away far enough, and a nice job by Nolan the fourth. Got away from the catcher Longoria enough for him to head on over to third. So 1-0 the count, runner on third base, bringing the infield in at the grass now.
Oh,
Foul ball back to the screen.
Jerry, I thought I was going to parallel.
1 ball, 1 strike. That ball was maybe, it just went the opposite way of parallel. He was on it, but back to the screen, not quite enough. That's down low. 2-1 the count. Nolan the fourth moves up on a wild pitch. That's outside. So 3-1 the count. Bottom of the third inning action, scheduled 9-inning game. Second game of the three, best 2 out of 3 to see who goes to Salina. There's a ball headed for the gap. That's going to be an RBI. Headed to second base and in with an RBI double. So back-to-back doubles and RBI doubles for Nolan and Wojda.
455, Braden Horn.
So that'll bring up Braden Horn. Horn will step in. We're going to get a visit to the mound. Horn is from Derby, Kansas. We'll see if there's any change made. The Blue Devils now leading by 3. Back-to-back doubles by Nolan the fourth and Wojda to push this lead out to 3-0. I'll be back. All right, the visit is over. Runner at second base, 1 out. Horn at the plate. Horn is from Derby, Kansas, in case I missed that before the little break. He takes a strike, 0-1 the count. Horn was hit by a pitch his first time up. Wojda in scoring position at second base.
Bye, ball!
There's a ball headed deep into the corner, and that ball is going to be a home run for Braden Horn. So Horn with the 2-run home run. That makes it 5-0. That's going to bring up Barham.
Eric?
Barham is from Kansas City, Missouri. He'll step in with the Blue Devils leading 5-0.
Oh, Harry.
Turned on that one right between the wickets of Coach Golbeck down at third. That one got there in a hurry by Barham. Barham popped out to the second baseman, Alfonso, in Shallow right field over by the line. A long run by Alfonso. Out in front of that, swinging, fouls it back off the end of the bag. At the end of the bat, I should say. So quickly 0-2 the count on Harrison Barham, the second baseman. 4 runs in the inning thus far. There's another ball whistled past Goldbeck down there. So Barham hitting it hard but not getting it between the lines currently. Caleb Tucker on the mound for the Conquistadors. Another foul ball, so Barham earns another pitch. Still 0-2 in the dirt. 1-2 the count. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 5-0 lead for the Blue Devils. That ball's down low. 2-2 the count now. Ball's going to be out of play and headed for the woods. You can see leading into that woods, there's a slope down to the hill that you can't see on the outside of that. So we'll do the 2-2 again. Strike 3 called. Caught the inside corner, says the umpire. So that's going to bring up Carter Towns. Towns is from Kansas City, Missouri as well. He's up there with 2 outs. There's a breaking ball back to the heart of the plate. Towns reached on a base on balls his first time up. There's a 1-hopper at Alfonso. He's up with it and over to Connor for the 4-3 ground out to end the inning. The Blue Devils get 4 runs on 4 hits. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Blue Devils leading 5-0. Stay with us. I'll be back. Alfonso Warello and Connor scheduled up for the Conquistadors. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Alfonso is from Miami, Florida. He grounded out to Pachorik at short his first time up. Breaking ball stays outside, 2-0 the count. Two and 0 the count now. There's a ball headed down the right field line. Over into the corner. That ball's going to be taken in fair territory for the fly out to Spencer Schmock.
DH, Calvin Murillo.
So that's going to bring up Murillo. Murillo is from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. There's a strike outside corner at the belt. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen Smock across the outfield. Wojda, Pachorik, Barham, and Santiago across the infield. Horn behind the plate and Deer on the mound. There's strike two. So quickly 0-2 the count on the designated hitter, Calvin Murillo. Foul ball back to the screen. So Murillo gets an extra pitch by fouling one away. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. That's going to bring up Connor.
First baseman, M.D. Connor.
Connor is from Austin, Texas. Lefty versus lefty here. 2 outs. Nobody on. That ball's a little bit low. 1-0 the count. Connor grounded out to Barham at second his first time up. That ball misses inside a bit. 2-0 the count. Strike on the swing. No, foul ball. 2-1 the count. Got a little work going on down in the Conquistadors bullpen. That's down low. 3-1 the count. There's a ball that's going to get just right up here by us. That may be as close a foul ball as I've ever had to get up to my seated spot. Had some into the net that have been coming right at me, but that one was over the top of the net and just up here by the entrance to the press box. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to M.D. Connor, the first baseman. It's a 2-hopper to Barham. Barham up with it and over to Santiago for the 4-3 ground out. So a fly out, a strikeout, and a ground out. Conquistadors, no runs on, no hits, nobody left on, no errors. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Blue Devils leading 5-0. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Blue Devils leading 5-0. Schmock, Pachorik, and Dirks scheduled up for the Blue Devils. First pitch is down low for ball one. 1-0 the count. Schmock is from Aurora, Colorado. There's a strike to him. 1-1 the count. He reached on an error by the second baseman his first time up. There's a little nubber headed down to first. Connor hustles over that and lets that roll into his glove while he's standing on the bag. So a 3 unassisted. Back to the top of the order, and Pachorik. Pachorik is 0 for 2 on the day. He hit a line drive at the shortstop, McClintock, and a fly out to Concepcion in right field his second time. 0-1 the count on him. Blue Devils leading 5-0. That's down low and in the dirt. Tucker back for his fourth inning of work for Dodge City. There's a ball headed into right field and another fly out to Concepcion for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks will step in with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Blue Devils leading 5-0. Ball one. Dirks grounded out unassisted to Connor at first base his first time up, and then had a base hit to left field. There's a strike inside part of the plate. 1-1 the count. There's a foul ball headed over into the dugout area. Saw it bounce off the top over there. 1-2 the count now on Dirks. That's down low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Turned to brace himself for getting hit, and it just didn't quite get him. But brings up a 3-2 count. There's a ball headed into center field. That's going to be taken by the center fielder, Costner. So a 3 up, 3 down inning for the Caleb Tucker, the pitcher for the Conquistadors. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Blue Devils leading 5-0. I'll be back. Concepcion, Brown, and Longoria scheduled up. Deer back for another inning of work. That's low and inside, ball one. It's a ground ball headed to Pachorik. He's up with it and throws over to Santiago, and Concepcion is out. Concepcion is from Miami, Florida.
Up next, third baseman, number 23, Seth Brown.
That's going to bring up Brown. Brown struck out his first time out. First pitch is a ball. Brown is from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I think I saw 3 at least that were from Toronto on the Conquistadors roster. 2-0 the count to him. In tight on the grass is Woida. Squares to bunt and offers and comes up empty. So 2-1 the count. So whatever tipped the Blue Devils off, they had positioned correctly. Woida. There's a ball headed into the right field corner and headed to second base, but is going to settle at first base for the base hit. So Brown with a base hit into the corner and over to get a hold of that. Quickly was Smock to keep him at first base. That's going to bring up Longoria. Longoria is from Austin, Texas. Had a couple of players from Austin. That's in the dirt, nicely blocked by Horn. Longoria walked in the second inning and was erased by a caught stealing. 1-0 the count. Runner at first base is Brown. He had a 1-out hit into the right field corner. Schmock hustled over and kept him to a single. Two and 0 the count now. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 2-1 the count now. Top of the fifth inning action. 9 innings scheduled game. Comes the 2-1 from Deer. There's a line drive right past the nose of Concepcion. Brown. And over at first base with back-to-back base hits. Brown at second. Longoria. That's going to bring up Derry. Jackson Derry, the left fielder. He had a base hit to lead off the third inning. He was also caught stealing. He steps in with 1 out and runners at first and second. Breaking ball stays up and in. Derry from South Lake, Texas, with the base hit and the RBI base hit by Derry through the hole. between Wojda and Pachorik.
Center fielder Corey Costner.
That's going to bring up Costner. Costner is from Columbia, Missouri. Had 2 players on the roster, I believe, from Columbia. There's a strike right through there. So 5-1 now, the lead. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Blue Devils could use a 1-hopper right at Barham. There's a strike outside corner at the waist. So quickly 0-2, Deer out in front of Costner. And the swing and the miss for the strikeout. So a ground out, back-to-back base hits, gets 1 RBI and then a strikeout. 2 down now, runners at first and second. Back to the top of the order, and McClintock. He's been out on fly balls to Smock in right field, both at bats, 1 in the first, 1 in the third. The 1 in the third was over in the corner where the fence starts coming in closer, and Smock goes up to the high above the wall to bring that one back. Didn't bring it back, but may have saved it from going out. There's a strike called. One and one the count, 2 outs. Low and outside. 2-1 the count now. Way outside. So 3-1 the count now. Jose Alfonso on deck, hoping to get a chance here. McClintock trying to keep things going. Deer trying to shut it down. There's a ground ball at Pachorik. He underhands it over to Barham for the 6-4 fielder's choice to end the inning. So the Conquistadors get 1 run on 3 hits. 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Blue Devils leading 5-1. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Blue Devils leading 5-1. Santiago Nolan the 4th. And Wojda scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Santiago makes his stroll around to take his spot in the left-handed batter's box. He'll face Tucker for the 3rd time. Santiago has reached on a base on balls and flew out deep to left center to Costner. There's a diving catch by the first baseman, Connor. That's going to be a base hit, I believe. deep in the hole diving. First baseman trying to get the ball to his pitcher is going to be a base hit. So down at first base will be Santiago. At the plate will be Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth, he had an RBI double in the third. Going to get a visit to the mound. We'll see if there's any changes. I'm going to take a break. Blue Devils, one on, nobody out. Heart of their order. I'll be back. All right, the pitching change has been made. Freddie Nolan, the fourth, will be the first to take a look at Cameron Stukenborg. He is from Katy, Texas. He comes in with nobody out and a runner at first. First pitch is a ball. Nolan, the fourth, has grounded out and has an RBI double into the right field corner. Scored Santiago. Scored Dirks. That's outside for ball two. Stukenborg has a 5.53 ERA. He's pitched 53 and 2/3 of an inning. There's a ball deep, but not going to be between the poles. Stukenberg has 32 strikeouts and 11 base on balls in 53 and 2/3 of an innings pitched. His record is 5-3. That's inside. 3-1 the count on Nolan the fourth. Swing and a miss. 3-2. Big old hole on the right side. If we could just slap that ball over there with 2-strike count now, just make some contact. We'll see what we get out of Nolan the fourth here. Here comes the 3-2. That ball's off of his foot. Should have been called nonetheless. In finality, it's a foul. 3-2 the count. Cameron Stukenborg on in relief of Caleb Tucker. Both of them are from Texas. There's strike 3 called.
The 48, Ian Wada.
That's going to bring up Wada. Wada will step in with 1 out and a runner at first. Wada struck out in the second, had an RBI double, scoring Nolan the 4th in the 3rd. That's outside. Bottom of the 5th inning action. We're just 1 out past halfway in this one. Back over the top behind us. That was a pitch he'd like to have right there and just under it a bit. Fouled it up over the top of us. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. 1 run scored by the Conquistadors. A lot of ones on the board. Blue Devils have a 5. There's a toss back over, back in safely. Is Santiago. Low and outside. 2-1 the count now on the third baseman, Ian Wada. Ball's going to be out of play over here. Two and two the count. Comes the 2-2 from Stukenborg. The runner goes and is going to be safe and heading over to third is Santiago. So the runner at third, Santiago, is 2 bases closer than he was. Infield in at the grass. 3-2 the count on Wada. There's a ball headed deep. I don't think there's any chance the ballpark will hold that, and it will not. So Wada strokes it out to left field for the home run. That's going to make it 7. 7-1 with the 2-run dinger to left field.
55 rated Horn.
So that's going to bring up Horn. Horn will step in with 1 out, nobody on after the home run by Wada. Horn's been hit by a pitch and had a 2-run home run himself. He takes down low, 1-0 the count. Bottom of the 5th inning action, 7-1 lead. Turned on that one, whistles it by Coach Golbeck over in the coach's box. Every one of these runs we found out yesterday can be needed. Had a 12-6 lead yesterday, ended up winning 12-11. That's inside. So you better get all you can when you can. 2-1 the count now on the catcher, Horn. There's a breaking ball, catches the strike zone. 2-2 the count. The wind and the pitch from Stukenberg. That's down low, so 3-2 the count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. 2 runs in the inning to make it 7. That's down low for ball 4. So a base on balls issued to Horn. Horn will hustle down to first base. He'll be on there with 1 out, and that's going to bring up Harrison Barham. Barham has popped out to Alfonso and was called out. Alfonso at second base, but out into shallow right field, and then Barham was called out on strikes in the 3rd. Nicely done by the catcher there, Longoria, keeping that ball from going to the screen. 1-0 the count. That's inside and hit by a pitch. It's going to bring up Towns. Blue Devils trying to win the second game of the 2-game best 2 out of 3 series. Conquistadors kind to force a game 3 tomorrow. Towns has reached on a base on balls and grounded out to Alfonso at second base. Runners at first and second, 1 out. It's a high fly ball into center field. That's going to be taken by the center fielder, Costner, and the runners stay put at first and second. So that's going to bring up Smock. Smock reached on an error, his first at bat in the second, grounded out to Connor, unassisted at first base his second time. He's up there with 2 outs now, runners at first and second. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner. 0-1 the count. On the right fielder, Spencer Smock. There's a ball headed up the middle, but played perfectly by Alfonso. So he hits it hard, but Alfonso playing over by second base. The Blue Devils get 2 runs on 2 hits, and we go to the top of the 6th inning. Blue Devils leading 7-1. Top of the 6th inning. Alfonso Murillo and
One, Jose Alfonso.
Connor scheduled up for the Conquistadors. That's low and inside for ball one. Alfonso grounded out to Pachorik at short in the first, flew out to Smock in right in the fourth. Defense of the Blue Devils playing him pretty much straight up. There's a strike right through there. 1-1 the count as Alfonso leads off the top of the sixth inning here for the Dodge City Conquistadors. That's up high. 2-1 the count. Comes the 2-1 way outside. 3-1 the count. Three balls, one strike. Comes the pitch. It's going to be backing out of play, headed over to the soccer field. So 3-2 the count now. That's high and outside, so a leadoff walk to Alfonso.
DH Calvin Warillo.
That's going to bring up Warillo. He was hit by a pitch in the first, struck out in the fourth. Runner down at first base is Alfonso after the leadoff walk. There's a high fly ball down into the corner, and that's going to be in the bullpen area and foul. So 0-1 the count on the designated hitter, Warillo. It's a ball laced right over at the end of the dugout by the Blue Devils. So quickly 0-2 the count on Murillo. Way outside. 1-2 the count. One ball, two strikes, one on, nobody out. Caleb Deere in his sixth inning of work. There's another ball headed over to the soccer field. Comes the 1-2. And, a little flinch, but he didn't go on with it. The umpire with a flinch, but didn't ring him up. So we go 2-2 now. Toss over to first. Second baseman Jose Alfonso, the runner at first for the Conquistadors.
Hey, hello.
Runner goes, and that ball's going to be fouled away. We'll do the 2-2 again as soon as Alfonso's back to first and Murillo's back to the box. The high chopper, Pachorik coming on. Only way to go is to first. They get the 6-3 ground out, but Alfonso goes down to second base on the ground out. That's going to bring up Connor. Connor will step in with one out and a runner at second. Connor is grounded out twice to Harrison Barham at second base in this one. Foul ball back to the screen. One in the first and one in the fourth ground balls to Barham. Barham out in shallow right field. And hit by a pitch is Connor. It's going to bring up Concepcion. We're going to get a visit to the mound. Conquistadors have runner at first and second with one out. Here in the top of the sixth, scheduled 9-inning game. Blue Devils leading 7-1. We'll see if there's any changes. I'll be back. Concepcion will step in. He's grounded out twice, once to Pachorik at short, once to Santiago at first. Runners go. Gonna throw to second and safe down there. So the double steal by Alfonso and Connor. Blue Devils through to second. Both runners safe, so runners now at second and third for the Conquistadors. Concepcion at the plate, 1-0 the count on him. Popped it up, but it's going to be out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Breaking ball stays up and out. 2-1 the count. Deer in his 6th inning of work for the Blue Devils. That misses a little bit up and out. 3-1 the count. There's ball 4. That's going to load them up. The bad news is you loaded up the bases. The good news is now you have a chance for a double play, a better chance. We're going to get a pitching change. We'll get those changes. We'll be back. Conquistadors are threatening here. Blue Devils lead 7-1. I'll be back. Pitching change has been made by the Blue Devils. Dylan Blazer will come on in relief of Deer. He is from Shawnee, Kansas. He has a 3.48 ERA. 3-2 is his record. 17 appearances, 31 innings pitched. In those 31 innings, he has 30 strikeouts and 23 base on balls. He inherits the bases loaded, so Deer is responsible for the 3 runners that are on base. Blazer will come in looking to get a double play ball right here off the bat. Seth Brown will be coming to the plate for the Conquistadors. Brown struck out in the second, had a base hit to right in the fifth. Blazer's first pitch is low and inside and blocked by the catcher nicely, Braden Horn. Another pitch inside, 2-0 the count. There's a hit by pitch. So an RBI hit by pitch. Remember what I said about getting all the runs you can, because these guys can score some runs. So a hit by pitch, and runners are still at all bases. The bases loaded and 1 out. That's going to bring up Longoria. Longoria has reached on a base on balls and had a base hit. First pitch is up high, 1-0 the count. Bases full of Conquistadors, 1-0 the count on Longoria, the catcher. 1 out. It's outside for ball 2, 2-0 the count. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock across the outfield. Wojda, Pachorik, Barman, Santiago across the infield. Horn behind the plate. Blazer on in relief of Deer. There's a high fly ball into right center. That's going to be taken by Smock. And gets it in quick, and Coach Kelly, decides to keep that runner there at third, so now there's 2 outs. That's going to bring up Derry. Derry has a couple of base hits, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth. The 1 in the fifth had an RBI tied to it. There's a ground ball at Wojda. Wojda's going to step on the bag for a 5 unassisted. That closes the book on Dylan. Blazer coming in closes the book on Deer. So the Conquistadors get 1 run on no hits. The run came on a hit by a pitch. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Blue Devils leading 7-2. All right, to the bottom half of the sixth we go. Blue Devils leading 7-2. Pachorik, Dirks, and Santiago scheduled up. First pitch is a ball to Pachorik. Pachorik 0 for 3. Hit a line drive in the first and a couple of flyouts after that. 1-1 the count now. Fouled that one away. Stukenborg on in relief of Tucker. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 1-2 the count. Derry, Costner, Concepcion across the outfield. There's strike 3 called. Brown, McClintock, Alfonso, and Connor across the infield with Longoria behind the plate.
Center fielder Marcus Dirks.
So that's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks is 1 for 3, a ground out, a base hit, and a fly out. There's a strike at the belt inside half of the plate. 0-1 the count. Squares to bunt. The bunt is down. And it's going to be called out. Looked pretty close to me. Nice play by the pitcher, Stukenborg, to come off, get the ball and down to Connor for the 1-3 ground out on the bunt. That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago will step in with 2 outs. Nobody on. He's 1 for 2 on the day. There's a breaking ball, makes it back to the belt right in the middle of the plate. 1 for 2 with a fly out and a base hit. There's a 1-hopper that Alfonso is positioned nicely for out in the edge of right field. Ball comes up and he's able to react and get it for the 4-3 ground out. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. The Blue Devils get no runs on, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We go to the top of the 7th. Blue Devils leading 7-2. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. Top of the 7th we go. Blue Devils leading 7-2. Costner, McClintock, and Alfonso scheduled up for the Conquistadors. First pitch, it catches the outside corner, strike called. Costner has been out on strikeouts twice, once in the 3rd, once in the 5th. There's a high chopper at Woida. Woida gets the chop, shoots it over to Santiago for the 5-3 ground out.
Number 12, Josh McClintock.
So back to the top of the order in McClintock. McClintock is 0 for 3, a couple of flyouts to right field and a Fielder's choice 6-4. Shortstop Pachorik over to Santiago. There's a two-hopper to Pachorik. That's going to be a base hit in the hole over here. Nice effort by Pachorik, but a base hit by McClintock.
Second baseman Jose Alfonso.
That's going to bring up the second baseman, Alfonso. There's a strike right down the middle. 0-1 the count. Alfonso is 0 for 2 on the day, grounded out and flew out and reached on a base on balls. He did have a stolen base after the base on balls. That's down a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Toss over to first, nothing going on over there. There's a bunt in the air. See if Wojda can get there. And he can. It was foul. Out of the view of my camera. Sorry about that. But Wojda comes on and puts that away for the second out of the inning. Runner now at first base and 2 outs. That's going to bring up Warella. There's a strike inside corner at the knees. Warella is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the first, struck out in the fourth, grounded out to Pachorik at short in the sixth. Swing and a miss of the high heater, so he gets the strike called on the inside corner at the knees, and Blazer comes back with the high heater, and he couldn't catch up to it. 0-2 the count on Warilla. Fly ball into left field. That's going to be taken by Nolan the fourth for the final out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Devils leading 7-2. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Nolan the fourth, Wojda and Horn scheduled up. A high fly ball into left field. Went back a ways, did Derry, and then came in. He by meaning Nolan the fourth, launched that one high. So a deep fly ball or a high fly ball to Derry in the left. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida is 2 for 3 with an RBI double and a home run for 2 RBI.
Oh my.
The zone got bigger.
I think we're expanded, Jerry.
So a strike called there.
No.
Breaking ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Woida with 3 RBI with double and a home run. There's a ground ball taken by McClintock and over to Connor for the 6-3 ground out.
55, Pregame, Horn.
That's going to bring up Horn.
I think Horn yard for you.
Horn's been hit by a pitch, had a 2-run home run, reached on a base on balls. So he's been on base all 3 times. Has a couple of RBI with that home run. There's a breaking ball. Breaks down low. Out of the zone. 1-0 the count. There's a strike right through there. 1-1 the count. 2 outs. There's a strike. Catches the inside corner. 1-2. There's a strike 3 called. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Blue Devils leading 7-2. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. All right, to the top of the 8th inning we go. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Connor, Concepcion, and Brown, scheduled up for the Conquistadors. That's up a little bit high, 1-0 the count on the first baseman, M.D. Connor. He's 0 for 2, had a couple of ground outs to Barham at second. That's up high for 2-0 the count. Then he was hit by a pitch in the 6th, had a stolen base. He was part of a double steal. There's a pitch inside. 3-0 the count. There's a strike right through there. 3-1 the count. See if Blazer can come back from the 3-0. He's got it to 3-1.
Oh.
There's a ball way out in front of that. That ball might have hit him, and he pulled it clear over into the woods. So from 3-0 to 3-2. Dylan Blazer from Shawnee, Kansas. Top of the 8th inning action, 7-2 lead. There's another ball headed for the woods right there.
Somebody on that?
The 8th pitch of the at-bat coming here. 3-2 the count.
Oh, that's there.
Just a little bit high. So a base on balls. That's going to bring up Concepcion. Concepcion will step in with a runner at first base and nobody out. He's grounded out twice and walked once. There's a foul ball just past Coach Kelly down at third. Owen won the count. Breaking ball fouled and headed over into the woods. Owen to the count now. Nobody out. Runner at first. Top of the 8th inning. Runner bluffed going. Stayed up high, did the pitch. 1-2 the count. Foul ball headed over to the soccer facility. We'll do the 1-2 again. The right fielder, Juan Concepcion. Played left field yesterday. Toss over to first. Nothing going on over there. Another ball headed over to the soccer facility. One and two the count. It's outside, 2-2 the count. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen Smock, left to right across the outfield. Woida Pachorik, Barham, and Santiago, left to right across the infield. Horn behind the plate, Blazer on the mound. Just a little bit low, pretty good looking pitch right there. 3-2 the count. Down low for ball 4. So back-to-back walks to lead off the top of the 8th. We're going to get a visit to the mound. Remember back when I said you need as many runs as you can get. Walk a couple of guys. And nobody out. We'll be back. Seth Brown steps in after the visit to the mound. That's high and inside, actually hit by a pitch. No, excuse me, called a balk.
So is that no pitch?
So the pitch will correct. No pitch and no count. Runners at second and third. The high fly ball into center field. And gonna be safe only because the ball came out. Nice throw by Dirks. Horn contending that the ball was knocked out of his glove. Nonetheless, the fly out is going to be a sac fly. So now a runner at third and Longoria at the plate. Longoria squares to bunt, fouls it back. Longoria, 1 for 2 on the day, did have a stolen base after a walk, a base hit, and a fly out. So 7-3 the score now. 0-1 the count. And a nice play by the center fielder, Dirks. Another run will score, but on
Number 3, Jackson
the
Derry.
fly out makes it 7-4. I thought it was going to be a hit in. Nice play by Dirks in center right there. That's up high for ball 1. Derry at the plate. Want to know the count on him. Out in front of that one, had home run distance, but not between the poles. Derry 2 for 3 on the day. Had a base hit in the third, an RBI base hit in the fifth, and a fielder's choice 5 unassisted to Woida at third. Excuse me, in the sixth. Foul ball back into the net. 1-2 the count now. Dirks thought about going after that one, thought better. Base hit for Derry, so Derry 3 for 4 with 3 base hits. That's going to bring up Costner. Costner 0 for 3 on the day, a couple of strikeouts and a ground out to Woida at third. Foul ball headed over to the soccer field. There's a strike right through there. 0-2 the count. Runner down at first is Derry. To the count on Costner. Strike 3 called right down the middle, bottom part of the zone. So the Conquistadors get 2 runs on 1 hit. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Devils leading 7-4. All right, to the bottom half of the 8th we go. Barham, Towns, and Schmuck scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Barham is 0 for 2, a pop out, a strikeout, and was hit by a pitch. Takes ball 1, 1-0 the count. Barham, the second baseman. The high chopper at the third baseman, Brown. Brown up with it and over to corner for the 5-3 ground out. It's going to bring up Carter Towns. Towns 0 for 2. Ground out, a fly out. Did reach on a base on balls in the second. Breaking ball stays way up and out. Want to know the count on the designated hitter, Carter Towns. That's down low. 2-0 the count. Outside. So 3-0 the count. Stukenborg on the mound for the Conquistadors. They play him to pull. There's a strike right through there. Shortstop over toward second base. There was a strike called. Three balls, two strikes, and an out. There's a ball headed for the gap, headed for second base, and in with a double is Carter Towns. I'll bring up Spencer Schmuck. Smock is 0 for 3, reached on an air, grounded out, and hit a line drive right at the second baseman. But the second baseman was over, actually playing almost to second base. So had him played perfectly on that line drive, otherwise normally would be a hit. Fly ball down the right field line. Gonna just get over the bullpen, and he went over the edge of it down there. Here he comes out. Second baseman Alfonso jumped the fence to go in and check on him. So Connor into the bullpen over the little short fence down there. 0-1 the count on Spencer Smock, the right fielder. Squares to bunt, pulls back, takes up high. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Squares to bunt. The bunt is down. And pulled up a little bit funny on that ball, but that's going to be a bunt hit for Smock.
Shortstop Tanner Pachora.
So runners at first and second, and going to be Tanner Pachorik. You might just see another bunt. We're going to get a visit to the mound. Not sure if this is a mound visit from him possibly pulling a muscle. If I was coach, I would be saying, hey, I want to talk to him about that, but he may just take him out. Not sure. It's going to be a mound visit. I'll be back. All right, sound is off. There's a hit by a pitch. So after the visit, I didn't get things turned back on. Mrs. Pechorik's keeping the scoreboard going for us, so that makes it 8-4. The base is loaded. That's going to bring up Freddie Nolan, the fourth. The only thing I can rest on that is at least you could see what was going on. I apologize for that. Bases loaded. That ball misses inside. So the way that information went is my mom sent a message to my sister. My sister has sent it, and here it comes. Miss Pechorik lets me know. So thanks for all that help. Another block from Longoria. 2-0 the count on Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth is 1 for 3 in this game. He had an RBI double in the third. There's a ball headed deep into center field. That's going to be taken by Costner for the final out of the inning. So we go to the top of the ninth inning. Blue Devils leading 8-4. I'll be back. Thanks for your help, everyone, and your patience with me. We'll be back. Top of the ninth inning, Coven. Blue Devils need 3 outs. Conquistadors need at least 4 runs. I'll be back. All right, I have microphone on. I have Dylan Blazer back to the mound. I have Nolan the fourth, Dirks, and Schmock across the outfield. Wojda Pechorik, Barham, and Santiago across the infield. Horn behind the plate.
Barham's out, Tolk is in.
Who is out?
Barham, Tolk's in at second. Sawyer's
Second baseman is Sawyer Tolk, so probably a defensive move here. Sawyer Tolk goes in at second base. Thank you, man. I appreciate your help.
Better shortstop, Josh McClintock.
The normal progression of knowing about that until Tolk goes to bat, he does not have to be reported. That misses outside. 1-0 the count. McClintock is 1 for 4. Had a base hit in the 7th inning. There's a foul ball backing out of play. I like strikes being thrown. You throw strikes and you got a chance to get outs. Strikes down in the zone, the pitcher's best friend. 1-1 the count. That's outside. 2-1 the count. Straight up on the infield, straight up on the outfield. 2-1 the count. There's a soft line drive at Tolk. Tolk takes care of that.
Second baseman, Jose Alfonso.
It's going to bring up Alfonso. That's a big out you get right there. Alfonso comes to the plate. He is 1 for 3. That's inside. He did have a walk and a stolen base in the 6th. 0 for 3 with the walk and the stolen base, excuse me. That pitch is a little bit up. Over the plate, but up. Alfonso not very tall. Got a problem with his ankle guard. Now he's all set, ready to go. 2-0 the count. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. There's a ball headed out into right field. That's going to be taken by Smock. So a pop to second base and a fly out to right. Looks like we may have a pinch hitter here.
Nope. Got nothing.
Number 17, Josh McGowan. McGowan. Josh McGowan, number 17.
Pitch hitting number 17, Josh McGowan.
Want to know the count on him. Conquistadors down to their last out. Blue Devils leading 8-4. That ball's down a little bit. Pretty good pitch right there. 2-0 to the count on McGowan.
Did we read any scouting before that? Little rest seems like they're good hitters. And exactly.
Swing and a miss on that cut right there. 2-1 the count. Pinch hitter McGowan. 2-1 the count. There's a pop-up on the left side. Voigt is going to take care of that. The Blue Devils win this one. They win at 8-4. They take one yesterday, 12-11. Today, 8-4. They will go on to Salina next week, May 13 through 17. Those games will be broadcast out there. Mr. Voigt will be putting things out on the WhatsApp app for you to be able to find where to see those games. But that's a winner for the Blue Devils. They win the best 2 out of 3 for them to go on to Salina. Sorry about the silent inning. I appreciate your patience with me. I've enjoyed doing the year. That is going to be it for me this year. We'll see y'all next time. Have a safe day.